So ever since I've been posting content from my trip to the US, I've had people in my comment section saying something along the lines of, well, going to the US right now is a choice. And yes, I'm being mocking. But look, I understand their concerns, but let me talk about it. First of all, I chose to go to the US right now because circumstances, finances, and just general will all sort of lined up. I had the resource to do it, I had the time, and I felt it was important at that particular moment in my life, this moment of transition, and also given how just shit awful the last year has been, and I'm never going to talk about that, that I needed to. I've been jokingly saying that it was like my Eat, Pray, Love adventure, and it hasn't been as deep as that, but there's a degree to which it was, something I needed to do for my own spirit, to come to like a place that I've been thinking about and talking about and aiming towards for, several years now, even though I'm only here for a week and I'm doing stupid touristy things, but I think it was still an important thing for me to do. In terms of the security question, I, did my research. I looked into what the actual security threats were, what the, we hear these horror stories, but I researched, what those actual stories were and how those things can be avoided, and I took necessary precautions. Now, I didn't delete anything off my social media. I didn't, try to whitewash my social media presence, and they had all my social media. You have to give all your social media handles when you apply for ESTA, which is sort of the digital visa waiver. So I didn't try to hide the person I am in order to come here. But I did my due diligence and sort of found that there was likely not going to be much issue. In terms of some people saying that, I effectively should be boycotting, I'm like, the people who are employed by hotels or parks or, touristy things, they're not responsible for what their government is doing. The depreciation of tourism is bad enough. And the administration clearly doesn't care. So what would boycotting coming here actually do? But I know there were people who were genuinely afraid of me coming. I know there were people in my family who were very concerned when I said I was going to come to the US. And my feeling about that is this. Authoritarians and authoritarian governments and authoritarian leaders, because they're not really leaders, rely on your fear to control you. And I refuse to be afraid. I'm cautious, I'm sensible, but I refuse to be afraid. People might say that's naive. People might say that's me playing my privilege, and there is a degree to which that is definitely true and definitely something I thought about. But I just can't help but think that, if you let, especially someone from another country, if you let petty little despots dictate your behavior, you're letting them win. Cheeto McTaco Tits doesn't get to say what I do, and neither does Goebbels from Wish. I'm not going to say this is an act of defiance, because that would be disrespectful to people who are actually committing acts of defiance, but I'm not going to play into these people's hands either. And so I hope people who at least perhaps still disagree with me deciding to come here at least understand, what I was doing for myself and what I was hoping to achieve in thinking about the future. Now, am I financially going to regret this in a couple of months if I still don't have a job and have run out of money? Look, maybe, very possibly. But I guess I'm having a bit of faith, doing a little manifesting, putting it out into the universe that things are going to be fine. Again, maybe naive, but hey, that's where I'm at. So as I sit here in central LA about to jump in an incredibly expensive Uber and head back to the airport, I suppose there's one question from this trip that I still need to answer. Could I actually live here? Those of you who perhaps haven't caught up, I'm an incredible Melbourne snob, and I've tended to turn up my nose at pretty much every other city I've gone to, with the exception of Wellington. And because of my career, I've had to think long and hard about a move to Los Angeles, and so the question remains, do I feel like I actually could live here? And, the basic answer in the, whole week and a little bit that I've been here is, yeah, I think I could. I don't think I could live in the city. I'd have to move out to, Burbank or Studio City or somewhere a bit more economical that's closer to things like studios. But this town has a vibe that I've really enjoyed. It has a feeling, it has a sense that, I get from places like Melbourne. It's different, it's very different, but I do like it. In talking to a friend of mine before I left, she posed the question of, ask yourself where you would want to live and would you need a car? And I would definitely need a car. Ubers are ridiculously insane and public transport sucks. I would definitely need a car to live here. Now, would it be reasonable under the current political climate? It would depend on immigration status, obviously. I would need legitimate immigration status. I think the days of, Aussies coming over on their little 3-month visa and then, sneakily overstaying it, I think those days are over for me personally. So if I was gonna do it, I would want to do it legitimately, which would mean either having a job for someone to sponsor me to come over or, entering the visa lottery, which actually hasn't posted yet this year because of the shutdown, I assume. And I think I would definitely need either a significant source of income or a lot in the bank. I think last year when I was thinking about this, I had sort of a target of what I thought I would need, and I would definitely need a lot more than that. Or, get a job really quickly. Is there a middle-aged fat guy OnlyFans? I've got no shame, I could do that. And of course, Americans in the entertainment industry and Americans in LA will be saying, the entertainment industry is contracting. Why would you want to move in when, there's a clear contraction? And the honest answer to that is, I'm aware that there's a contraction, but in Australia, it's contracting a lot more. A recent report said that production for television has gone down 75% in the last 5 years, and films are not much better. This is in Australia. It's almost as if we need some, quota to boost local production, because so many international companies are making decisions these days and they figure we speak English, so stuff from other English-speaking markets is fine. If only our government had the spine to introduce something like that. And I know I'm going to have to head back to reality now, and I'm going to have to figure out work and finance and all that boring stuff to, actually live. But it's definitely been illuminating being here, and it's definitely been motivating, and it has definitely been something I very much needed to do.